Well, hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Blue Gamer Bluecast Morning Show. I'm your host, Adam Blue, 30-plus year video game enthusiast industry analyst. And today, for June 18th, 2025, I'll run through the latest gaming news, what I've been playing. And yeah, so let's get started. Shout out to the morning crew, Ultronymous, Chris, JamKillX. Always love seeing you guys here. It's like I was wanting to, talk gaming every morning in the first place anyway, because I just want to do that so bad, but it's cool to have a regular crew. And I like that. That's really neat. So yeah, to get started, yesterday, let's think about yesterday was a Tuesday. The Tuesday in my household is a little up in the air. It's second day of the week. After work, it's usually, if there's something planned or not, we'll just chill. So yeah, I guess I got a little bit more gaming in yesterday. I'm trying to think of anything else interesting that happened yesterday other than my last dental appointment to do the cleaning that I needed to get done. And I guess PSA, I thought my teeth were fine. Again, got it looked at, and there was some stuff, even, stuff I saw on stream, and it's gone now. There was some stuff down there. Anyway, I just get your teeth checked, I guess, if you're not already taking care of them. Let me move into the main course here, which is what I've been playing. So, wow, look at how much time I've spent in War Robots Frontiers. But I will say, I think there was a time, and I don't know if it counts, that I just had the game running and on the menu and I was doing something else. But I played this morning. Yes, it's June 18th. War Robots Frontiers is way more fun than I thought it would be. I remember playing the other War Robots. And I guess I might have already said this stuff, but they changed it. It's very slower paced. I really feel like I'm in a mech. And even the building took me a second to really figure out, having the different loadouts of mechs, because you could make it where, depending on your parts, you might have 5. And then those are your 5 mechs for battle. Or maybe you only have 1. I think you have to have at least 2, because there's a Titan. It's a mech you get near the end, or once you've accumulated enough points. And so sometimes I feel like when I play video games, I come in and I consider it blind dumb, where a lot of times when I come into a game, I try not to go and learn everything or read it's like, how can I feel out what this game wants me to do? And then from there, I might pick up a few things. So first I was trying to feel out how to build my robot and use them, but I couldn't figure it out. I really had to use a YouTube video to get an understanding of how to build. And the downside to that is realizing the system is built in a way to make you go, oh, well, then I should go buy this part or buy that part. Now, with your real money. Now, that's disappointing. This is a free-to-play game, so that's an aspect of it. So looking past that, if you look at the gameplay itself, it just works. And I would even relate this to the recent SD Gundam Eternal, because when you play SD Gundam Eternal, it feels like the game as it is on console or PC, the other SD G generation games. But then within it, there's other little things like go talk to the characters and like give them a blueprint of something, or other little random side things that have nothing to do with the meat of the gameplay, but it's there to keep you in the game, to get more resources, etc. Luckily with War Robots, all the gameplay, it's deathmatch, it's capture the flag. They have this other mode. It reminds me of Battlefield, but I'm still trying to figure out the intention of it rather than being a deathmatch. But there's like a ticker at the top, even though everyone has a limited amount of robots they can use, whatever. But anyway, watching YouTube videos, it helped me, because what I did was I accidentally didn't destroy, but I was like trying to build my custom mech, and I ended up taking parts from my mechs that were already in the hangar. So then I had no mechs, and I couldn't use my custom mech because it had parts I'm not able to use yet, which is confusing on one hand, but on the other hand, that then allows you to test out any mech you want at any time, even if you don't have the parts. So the game allows you to feel out how to play the mech and then grab the parts. One interesting thing about it, and again, this could be where I'm trying to figure out your main weapon or the right trigger or the left mouse click. It seems like it's just one button for that. Now, you can have other specials that are then in other buttons, But what I'm getting at is when you're mounting the main guns on your character, a lot of the defaults are it's all machine gun, all missile, all shotgun. But you can actually go in and have, well, I'll have a machine gun, a missile, and shotgun. So then as you're firing the one button to shoot, they're all firing. Now they all have their cooldowns, so you have to take that into account. But it was pretty neat because, again, I didn't know what I was doing. I was using a YouTube video to help me. I built this mech that had a machine gun and missile launcher. So how it works is, as it's a Gatling gun, as I'm shooting the Gatling gun, every, I don't know, whenever the cooldown is, maybe 10 seconds, if I have the enemy in the line of sight, it will launch a volley of missiles at it, like every 10 seconds. Anyway, I'm really liking what's going on with this War Robots game. It feels good, and I think that's the main thing here. It feels good. And I'm going to kind of do a comparison, like, so Gundam Battle Operation 2, that feels really good too. But War Robots feels more like a mech. Even though I love how Battle Operation 2 feels, because that's kind of what I want. I'm wanting a mech game. Gundam is mech, Battle Operation 2, but it doesn't feel like War Robots. So, and I say War Robots Frontiers, because again, I played regular War Robots or whatever. You know what? Wasn't there another free-to-play mecha game that I was playing even on this channel? And I completely forgot what it was. Or was it on this channel? I don't know. And then there's Mecha Break that's coming soon. But I will say I am pleasantly surprised with War Robots. So just throwing that out there. So Marvel Spider-Man 2, I just jumped in last night. I was testing, again, my new TV with the PS5. And I was like, well, I'll try to play some Spider-Man 2. But nope, the thing happened that I can't stand is it's like there's the objective I need to get to. And then along the way, there's little side activities you could do. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll go stop this crime, stop that crime. That's fun. And then I get to the side activity, and then it's an unskippable cutscene. And then it's a walking section. To me, that's the biggest mistake the Spider-Man 2 game could make is I feel, and it's a Sony thing. I think Sony felt all their games had to be cinematic, and in ways that can work. And I think it does generally work in Spider-Man. But I feel like so that's the other thing. Maybe it just sold very well where it doesn't matter. But I guess for someone like me that likes gameplay experiences, Spider-Man 2 takes you out of it. And again, I will compare to Miles Morales, which I think that the plot, there's a word for this. Moving through the story, the pace, there you go. The pace made sense. Sniper Elite Resistance, I just jumped in and I was actually about to play because they actually came out with a final DLC for the season pass. And the season pass is on sale. It's actually always on sale, luckily, being a Game Pass subscriber. But they added an extra fourth mission that wasn't planned and some other stuff. So it was like perfect time to grab. So yeah, I think I bought the DLC. I was about to play it, and I want to say something happened. I remember I was talking to my son. I think we were just talking about something randomly for a while, and then I forgot to play. But I had loaded it up. Anyway, that was my day yesterday. I want to show a cool game I found, but we're going to kind of speed run through some news because I want to spend most of the time playing that. Stellar Blade devs are considering a Switch 2 port, which is really cool. I probably wouldn't get it on Switch 2. But I just think another way to play this game. Switch is a good place to have your game be able to exist. So, okay, Warner Brothers game restructures around Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, Mortal Kombat, and DC. So, the embattled publisher has promoted 3 studio heads to lead the company into a franchise-first future. So, this is an example, and companies do this all the time, where they come out and they're like, okay, we have this initiative. We are going to do this. And then they get started, and 3 months later, there's a shift in the market, and they move on to something else. So, they could say this. I don't know. It doesn't mean anything, except that I guess it is good that they are still going to make games focused on big IP. I think that's very important for all IP in the video game space to have. And again, I don't play a lot of these games, but from what I understand, in Mortal Kombat's always been a quality release. Even if people didn't like the recent one, I feel like they've always had high quality behind them. I feel like even though Suicide Squad didn't work out, the idea behind a lot of DC games with Warner Brothers are to make a good game. Harry Potter, a lot of good reviews. So I do think the optics around, hey, we're going to focus on this is good for the future. But I really feel like they can't just tie their hands like that. That was like what Sony was doing at the beginning of the 2010s with making all their franchises the walking simulators, you know? But Microsoft, future Xbox experiences won't be tied to one device. So I think Sarah Bond had this interesting video where Microsoft has interesting video where they had Sarah Bond, someone that works at Microsoft. And I say someone, but she's the president. But, you know, the only time we ever see her is when she's doing these like marketing things. And I feel like that's kind of more of what it is. But anyway, it was just interesting that they had this video put up because they were talking about their multi-year agreement with AMD, not NVIDIA. Interesting, huh? AMD, which I think makes sense, though, because Microsoft has their own AI platform, so they don't really need to leverage NVIDIA as much as most companies do that need to make use of AI. I mean, Microsoft has the whole Azure AI backing. I'm in it every day. So that would make sense to me why they wouldn't go with NVIDIA or wouldn't need to. And I'm sure AMD's getting a lot out of this too. That's going to allow them to do some more AI stuff. But anyway, there was something related to that. And so, okay, Xbox is saying, hey, we're working with AMD, but hey, it doesn't have to just be on Xbox hardware. The other thing is the next Xbox consoles will be backwards compatible with and enhanced with AI. So this is a very cool thing because I do think there are layers to the porting of a game, either backwards compatible or just other platforms, that this is where AI would actually really come in and help. It could do some very foundational things that a human doesn't have to do. When at the end of the day, a lot of times, like, well, we can't port it. It's going to cost too much to back, AI can handle that. It reminded me yesterday, I have this website, tunedna.com. It's under construction, TUNE, DNA.com. It's something I'm building with AI. It's a complete music discovery app where you put 3 of your favorite bands in there. It analyzes them, tells you. Anyway, I'm still working on it, but just working with that tells me how much easier it is for any company. Sony better be doing this, leveraging AI to speed run your porting or backwards compatibility. So consoles, plural. Sarah Bond made a comment in this video about there being consoles planned in the Xbox lineup, which effectively extinguishes the belief that Microsoft is planning to pull out of manufacturing hardware. That could be a marketing trick, though, as we all know that as of a few months ago, everything is an Xbox. And the reason I think they are still going around with this and going with AMD is this allows Microsoft to get AI algorithmic hardware out there and tested in the hands of people. The big push, most people don't know this, the big push with the original Xbox was around also, Windows PCs being in every home, but it was to gather IP addresses. So IP addresses are public, right? And they can be, and mostly they are, especially if it's based on a certain device. Now, obviously, there's some IP addresses that you would keep private for certain reasons, but what the Xbox allowed is for Microsoft to map pretty much the world based on IP addresses. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, they were trying to get in the living room for video games. Yes, but the top of that was the mapping of network infrastructure. What this next step does with AMD is then allow a mapping of AI infrastructure. Similar to like the folding at home that the PS3 was doing. So a lot of times I think there's this background, these bigger background initiatives that don't have anything to do with gaming that most gamings don't really talk about. Remote gaming stuff, because it's not relevant to gaming, but it is relevant to a company. Now, a company like Sony, that's why they went with folding at home, because they don't really have any operations within them that would make use of a lattice of hardware networked, but the folding at home did. So it makes sense that Microsoft is really talking about, yes, multiple devices and be AMD, because it doesn't directly compete with the NVIDIA AI. That was a lot to talk about. That was something very interesting that no one is really talking about in relation to what Xbox is trying to do. So I might clip this as a a little short. But anyway, this just more and more, as much as people sometimes don't like what the big corporations are doing or whatever, Microsoft is like, okay, we need some data. How can we benefit the user so we get that data? Actually, you know what this reminds me of, and sometimes it's not beneficial? The car insurance, like some of those car insurance companies are like, if you download the app and install the app, you get a discount. Well, they want you to install the app because they're exfiltrating data from you. I would say it's just another example of Microsoft's kind of the good guy in that. They're just mapping the IP addresses. It helps them out, especially with security. That's also why they're at the top of security. So MS is pretty much out of the console making business. Well, Chris, that's what this entire article is about, that they're not. They have two AMD, they have two consoles other than the handheld coming out. And like I was just talking about, they're purposely trying to get AMD hardware with their OpenAI backing out, just like they did with the IP. Anyway, I kind of explained it. But no, they're not out of the console business at all. I think, this saying, next Xbox, or what was that other? Yeah. Microsoft future Xbox experience won't be tied to one device. And then, they're making multiple devices. It makes sense. It makes sense. In the world of AI, you do not want to not have hardware out there for, again, it seems like, anyway, I feel like I'm talking about it too much because it's the IP address thing, blah, blah, blah. Okay, there were a few cool things I saw. Sony is considering to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery Streaming in Studios. So I don't know how true. Sony has previously tried to acquire 21st Century Fox Paramount, so it wouldn't surprise me if they might also be interested in Warner Brothers. However, take this rumor, Mastergram, the source of the website, mostly covers wrestling news, and Warner Brothers Discovery isn't set to split until middle of 2026. But that actually gives reason why that this should be talked about right now, because if we look at then that other article we were just talking about, this is Warner Brothers kind of keying in on, okay, now, so for our gaming, this is what we're going to work on. And I'm assuming that's not for Sony. Sony would get into on the streaming part, because that was announced recently, was splitting that stuff. That's pretty interesting. They are as making it themselves. That's rumors. Well, historically, while Microsoft has made hardware, historically they rely on hardware manufacturers, because technically Microsoft doesn't make hardware. A lot of times when they're making something, they're partnering. Sony makes their own hardware, but a lot of companies actually don't. They'll get stuff from Samsung. But no, definitely Xbox is getting your hardware. Okay, complete look at the confirmed suggested leak and alleged features of the next Xbox. Okay, so there was the leak in 2023. There is the information about going multi-platform in mid-2024, which, oh my God, guys, I read an article from 2013 the other day. Actually, I think it's on my Blue Gamer archive, where I was saying how Phil Spencer's talking like the future is services. The future is services, like he's talking about that, services. It's like Microsoft is smart. They played the long game. Okay, and then Tom Warren and Jez Corden report on Project Keenan and the Windows-centric console. So we've got which is not related to the handhelds they just announced. So again, there's a lot more going on. What was the latest one? They announced, the X, and then there's the ROG Ally and Ally X, and then the partnership with AMD for multiple devices, including their next console. And multiple devices make sense, including next console, because there will be the standard Xbox console, but then there will be other AI sort of AI streaming devices. There will be devices that are for streaming to external displays. We're going to see a lot of that stuff more as well. Summary: Xbox wants to port its games to every device, which means its own devices must evolve meaningfully. You see, so they know they can't keep themselves behind. And again, it's because of AI hardware. It's because localized hardware is what can. So it's almost like we're going backwards, guys, when we were talking about like think games can be streamed, but now that we're realizing AI can take care of a lot of that load, and yeah, it could be done in the cloud, but if you can get it done locally, it's a better experience. So Xbox has multiple forms of hardware in development internally. Xbox is attempting to expand on the concept of the XS and offering players more than just one device or way to play moving forward. Exactly how that will happen is unclear, though it doesn't seem to follow the exact path of a weaker versus stronger device this time. Rather, different form factors or potentially a more cell phone-like approach with faster revisions. Xbox is focused on keeping its entire first and third-party library of Xbox Store games available directly on its next consoles and getting as much of it into the cloud as possible, desiring to bridge as many gaps as possible as to where you can play what you have bought or have access to via Game Pass, which is why I love Xbox Play Anywhere. Right now, that is the best service of me being able to play my game on my PC, in the living room, whatever. Anyway, I am so excited I feel like there's been a lot of cool gaming news around a change, like so many things have changed. I really do think hardware is back into play more than we realized. And it's because of AI. Like, I really do think pretty soon it's going to get to a point where Microsoft releases a box that is made to make a game. And there's also a weaker, stronger version with MS on Xbox. Yeah, and I think it's like that with everybody too. I mean, you get PS4, PS4 Pro, you get the Switch OLED, you get they all do that in different ways. Instead of Microsoft doing a mid-gen refresh, they just came out of the gate with it, so they don't have to that's why you see Sony raise prices first, because their portfolio isn't. Oh wait, I clicked the wrong game, guys. Their portfolio, that was muscle memory, isn't as expanded as Microsoft. But I think I know what they're talking about here. They know this is why they're pushing the console thing, because it's not about weaker versus stronger anymore. AI is going to take care of this stuff. And I know we talk about AI a lot in these terms of very blanketed. Like I wish we weren't using AI with video games. I might just go back to machine learning, localized machine LML, localized machine learning. That's what I'm going to call it. What these Xboxes are. What the heck? I can't even. What the new consoles are going to be is localized machine learning. Why can't I even? Is it not letting me? Okay. No, and it's not. It's not going to be escape. Okay, hold on one second. What is? I might have to exit and then start again. Okay. Controller's on. Gonna press play. Whenever you hear machine learning, I think of the killer perk in Dead by Daylight called machine learning. Oh yeah, I haven't got that far. So the history of machine learning is very interesting because it's actually always existed. Guys, the controller is just not working. Let me try one thing real quick. Am I crazy? Okay. Not cool. So this game, Awita, Awita, never heard of it. But it's cheap. It looked good, and it might not be, but it's not expensive. So I'm unfortunately gonna play with the keyboard. It's got to be the game. I use this controller all the time. Okay, I don't know how much longer this village will survive. If you don't find a cure, you should go to the capital. I think it should help you there. May the gods protect you. You are our last hope. All right, so I would never want to play a game like this, but this, I love the way this looks. Oh, look at that combo. All right. Man, how many Metroidvanias do I need to buy before I stick with one? Because I was playing that Soldiers yesterday, or the other day, and that was fun. But since this is a new game, okay, so I mean, luckily they have this set up for keyboard. I almost feel like I'm playing piano when I'm playing a side scroller on keyboard. Okay. Nice. Oh, that's a cool animation. But you pray and then the sword lights up. All right. We got map. Oh, I love the map. That is a Metroidvania map. Nice. You grab edges. No. Okay. Let's see anything over here. Oh, shield. Nice. Oh. Oh, that's cool. Wow, that was some pretty neat looking, feeling combat. So yeah, when you press the shield, it doesn't hold it. It's kind of like, I bet that's for like a timed block, which I love. I mean, uh-oh. There's a little tremor. You know, this feels so much... Oh, wrong button. Like... Okay, so it seems to automatically counter if you block. That's cool. Anyway, this just feels like back in the 90s when... Before the game pads were on PC, and I would be playing a ton of 2D side-scrollers with the keyboard. I'm about to die, but I love it. Because you don't have to attack. It's an automatic counter. See if I can break through there. Right. Yeah, the sprite work on this is really good. I think that's part of why I was like, I'm going to buy it. I'm just going to buy it. Just looking at I love when it feels cool to run around in the world. This is a good example of that. Okay. Oh. Yeah. Okay. If you hit reborn, you start here. Controller still doesn't work. I so would rather play with that, but guys, I think this is great. I gotta do all that over again. I wonder... Oh, options, reborn. I wonder if you could press start and you just start back. Actually, let me just do it. Yeah, cool. All right, well, you know... Controller. What happened? Because, yeah, there's an option to customize the controls, but yeah, it doesn't. So I'll probably ask ChatGPT AI. It'll probably fix it for me here later. But I guess we'll end it there. You know, I really wanted to play a little bit more of that. If I can get it, the controller work, and it seems like it's worth spending more time with, I might do that on stream. Let's look at it real quick. It just came out today. 6 user reviews, Ant Game projects, and so. That's the thing. I saw, like, you guys saw the artwork when I was playing and how it looked. That alone was enough for me to play it. And even playing on keyboard just now, the feeling of it is really cool. I am surprised at the auto parry sort of, or attack you do. That's cool that they added that. That's not common in games. I'll just read this randomly. Just a quick day one review as I'm at the third boss. This game enchanted me with its demo a while back. I must have missed that. The full game delivers on the promise. It's a lovely pixel art Metroidvania. I'm genuinely terrible at such games, but it's generous enough with its timings and save points to keep me going. Oh, that's good to hear. Some nice little touches to what's going on in Awita's world with the animation and music, super indie game, and clearly a work of love from those who created it. I am using Xbox controller as recommended to use a controller for this game. Oh, God. No, so I'll probably just restart my computer and it'll work. Anyways, that's it for this episode. Again, that was Awita, The Journey of Hope. And I think it's really cool. It's a lot of fun. I'm going to be playing that some more, even though I wanted to play Soldiers, which was another Metroidvania, but that's gonna wait. But yeah, until tomorrow, I'll have a good rest of the day.